Good morning, our beloveds. We are moving into a completely different vibration where, as you begin to stand up for yourselves, speak up for yourselves, and restructure yourselves, you will find how your outer world begins to shift to a more responsive universe. You have found manifesting in the past to be difficult because you just didn't do it well and you didn't understand the mechanism. In the past, you would put something into the ether, but because there was sometimes a 3 or 4 year lag time, you gave up the endeavor way before then and moved on to a different intention, and then a different intention, and then a different intention. And in these current times, you are finding manifestation is much easier because the lead time or lag time has shortened to sometimes just a month or literally immediately. And you're finding somewhat of a connection between your thoughts, beliefs, actions, motives, right? If you have unethical motives, you're finding that the universe is unearthing your unethical motives rather than honoring them with successful results. How you behave now comes back to you with full force. And what we mean with that is, if your intention or motive is to harm another being or to manipulate another being or to destroy their path or their belief in themselves, you are finding how it is actually working against you. Humanity is beginning to wake up. And when they have been repressed for so long and have accepted lesser than treatment, well, it's no longer working for them. Employees through the U.S. are collectively saying, we are no longer willing to work for your slave labor. You're not willing to pay us a living wage, so we would rather sit at home gathering unemployment at a pittance rate than to work for you because you have exploited us. The patriarchy has exploited us. Now, it's not across the board, but in some of the underserved, underpaid areas or industries, because this is where unemployment actually pays you more than that former employment situation did. And so those businesses that have underpaid are being squeezed. So rather than you being permitted to continue to enslave your employees, you're having to pay employees more or shutter your doors. It's that simple. This is how karma is playing out now. Now you would say, no, this is the government paying unemployment benefits, and these people are lazy and unappreciative of the job opportunities that we have offered them. And at the surface, yes, it may appear that way, but energetically, deep down and below the surface is the iceberg of imbalance. And it doesn't mean that the collective employer was the problem. It is the patriarchy. It is the American dream that is the problem. Pay your employees as little as possible while reaping and skimming all the profit off of the top. You don't treat employees well. You make them feel lesser than. You give them job insecurity by threatening to fire them rather than listening to their concerns and worries. When one of the largest employers in the U.S., Walmart, pays their employees so little that many of them are forced to go onto government assistance, then you have a problem. The problem is that Walmart is not paying their employees enough to live above the poverty level, such that these individuals actually qualify for governmental assistance. They offshore your jobs to China, to Thailand, to wherever. You no longer have those manufacturing jobs, right? And here, the collective is finally saying, no more, no more, no more. We deserve more than a living wage. We deserve a wage where we can have a decent quality of life, where we don't have such level of financial insecurity that 1, 2, 3 months would take the majority of the people in the U.S. and make them unemployed, homeless, and struggling to figure out how to get back onto their feet. This is not an economy that is based on stability and security that supports all, where everyone has a living wage, a general income, whatever you want to call it, something that helps to keep them fed and housed and alive, so that those base fears of theirs are met. Until that is attained, you will continue to have these financial insecurities because people make choices that are not in their best interest. No one would choose to be a slave, but if being a slave means that you are alive, that you don't starve, then you choose that. But it creates such a fearful vibration within the employee and makes them feel so financially insecure that they are not able to produce at their highest level of production that comes from a place of creation. If your employees were so well loved and nurtured and honored that they could feel that inner spark within them glow, they would produce so much more output for you, and not in the widgets and the calls and whatever it is that they do. They would actually be able to look at your business model and help to come up with a better way, a more efficient way to do their job, because they would see themselves to a certain extent as an owner within their environment rather than an hourly cog employee. You're beginning to see how the karma that's coming back, it plays out slowly. It's more like a cancer that's very slow growing, allowing you to change your behavior, thereby producing a different result or outcome. It is not the off with their heads approach. Our goal is not to punish humanity. Our goal is to work within humanity's incessant need for security. And we wish to produce that for you so that your fear vibration can move into that of love. Now, how does that occur? By one person at a time moving into this vibration. There is no come to the front, to the altar, to ask Jesus into your heart and you are forgiven and all is well. No. This is where the inner work begins. You must really go within and find that love within yourself. But what we can tell you is, for those employees who have said, I choose unemployment over pittance pay, we are proud of you, and you are part of the collective solution and not the collective problem. For those who can't see it, they can't see it, and that's okay. We don't need everyone to see it. We simply need those who are the individual chess pieces that are being moved at a particular point in time to continue to work with us, to follow that inner guidance system and to allow the rest to play out as it must. It is not easy to be told you are lazy because you're on unemployment, but what fool would choose to work as a slave for less money for an economy that doesn't support you than to stay at home, to rest, recharge, look at your opportunities, maybe even re-educate yourself or to learn something new in order to become a better version of you. You all have been so overworked for so long that it is time to go within and figure out what is best for you. And you can only do that from a place of peace and restfulness. When you are running around like chickens with your heads cut off, you cannot think properly. You cannot make decisions from a place of the Om. The Om is a place that you must visit through exploring your navel, which can be done by playing video games. It's not our preferred place, of course, because it is more of a numbing than in actively pursuing the divine. But either way, it pulls you out of that state of slave mentality and that you are worthy of more. So continue to play your respective part in this cosmic chess game that we are currently in, that you all find yourselves in. And just trust that there is a beautiful dance that is occurring. And if you could pull up high enough and watch these chess pieces move about, you would see that checkmate is just around the corner for the collective. It is there. We can see it. We can feel it, but we need each of you to continue to play your part. It's that simple. You're learning how manifesting now is shifting into hyperdrive, superdrive, turbo overdrive. You're learning your power, your words, your intentions, your actions, your desires, your beliefs, your motivations. They all matter. You are learning during and after this COVID time to see your worth, to find what feels good and what doesn't, and to pursue that which feels good. And if it leads you to a dead end, then you will start over again. But it's better to try to follow your own path and end up in a dead end than to continue to pursue the dreams of others, which are guaranteed not to inspire you, only to lead you astray from your own singular life's purpose. You are learning, you are learning, you are learning. And so it is. Namaste.